our local edition. Brad Pomerance here on the Central Coast, and we're joined today by Gean Marx. She is the mayor of San Luis Obispo, and she recently attended and was invited to participate on a panel at the 3rd Annual California Water Summit. A significant honor indeed, Mayor. The panel was entitled, I want to read it specifically because I think it is instructive, Municipal and Local Community Water Needs.
Right.
Tell us about the panel. Who was on it?
Well, the 4 mayors, Mayor of Salinas, of Hayward, of Alameda, which is up near Berkeley, and San Luis Obispo, and then David Pettijohn, who is the head, the director of water resources for LA, for Los Angeles.
And the moderator, by the way, former Congressman Dennis Cardoza, who represented significant portions of the Central Valley. So he knows from what he speaks when we talk about needs and drought.
Yes, he was actually in the federal legislature.
Right.
And he was very good. He was the moderator.
So let's talk about the mayors of the various cities, because you do come from different areas of our great state. The mayor of San Luis Obispo, yourself, of course, the Central Coast. Then you look at Salinas, not far from here, also a Central Coast city, but Hayward and Alameda, those are Northern California cities, and Los Angeles, of course, a Southern California city. So what great perspectives you received.
No, it was great, and the fact is that just because of climate change and the rain patterns, and Northern California is doing okay on water right now.
I remember, Mayor, that when we were speaking last year, we were so excited because El Nino was coming, and it was going to hit Southern California, and SLO was part of Southern California for that conversation. And poor Northern California wasn't going to get any rain. And the exact opposite happened.
Well, if you look at the maps of the drought, the real dark rust color is the worst drought. And that's ground zero for drought, and that's San Luis Obispo. However, our city is really relatively water secure because we've been working hard since the last severe drought from '87 to 1987 to 1990.
Well, let's talk about the security of SLO's water supply, because it is impressive. SLO, a city of under 50,000 people, although very impacted by Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. You have, it appears, 5 separate water sources, well diversified. 3 above ground storage. You have a wastewater recycling plant, and if you need it, you have access to groundwater, which you haven't needed.
Right. Well, that's our backup right now. So these are in 3 different watersheds. We bring them into the San Luis Obispo watershed, and then with the recycled water, we're able to provide it for landscaping for our parks and our little golf course. And we are upgrading our wastewater treatment plant, so if we treat the water one more time, it's now tertiary. If we treat it one more time, then we have something called advanced water treatment, which means that it's potable. It can be it has to be treated, but it can be integrated into the water supply.
So would it then be injected into the groundwater, or would it go right to the home?
There's different ways to do it. One is groundwater recharge, so you use aquifers as underground storage. Another thing would be to inject it into the existing aquifer, and then it would have to be filtered naturally and then taken out through wells. There are many different ways to go. So what we're doing is we're upgrading our wastewater treatment plant to make that possible.
Because when you think about the term, toilet to tap, there's an ick factor there. But the reality is, and I'm no scientist, but I understand that water is probably cleaner than any water you can imagine.
Well, the problem that we have is that we're actually generating more wastewater than we can use, than recycled water than we can use. And so we're sending water, we're not capturing all the water we could, we're sending it down to the ocean.
What about injecting it into the groundwater basin?
Well, that's another thing we're looking at. So the panel discussion included what are the challenges and what are you looking at. So they wanted to know what kind of things we're looking at.
I do want to ask, though, about the notion that we are in drought.
Yes.
Because the reality is Northern California did receive significant rain. The snowpack is looking much better than it had in the past few years. Lake Shasta, I mean, they're almost going over the tops of their reservoir barriers, if not.
Right.
The governor has called off some of these mandatory restrictions, and when we turn on the water, it goes on.
It's there. That's
there.
Good.
And so, but are you concerned that, and we have a presidential candidate saying that we're not in drought. And so are you concerned that the voters, the residents of California may be less concerned?
Well, I think the governor has made a good decision to make it all local. So
they're conservation decisions,
right? So where there really truly is no drought at this point, they can probably go back to a more kind of English landscape watering pattern. I mean, it's really the landscape and agriculture that takes, yeah. But in our situation, San Luis Obispo is aggressively looking toward recapturing more water. We have rainwater harvesting, gray water, and stormwater recapture. We're looking at all kinds of different techniques and strategies to make sure that if this drought lasts another 5 years, we have to be prepared.
Are you concerned that a major presidential candidate, Donald Trump, has come to our state and said we are not in drought? Is that concerning to you?
Yeah, I would say.
In what way?
In what way? I think he's deluded myself. I think he will say whatever he thinks people want to hear. And, I haven't heard him say one thing so far that would convince me to hire him to be a parking attendant, let alone president. So that's my own personal opinion.
Sure, I understand.
Not speaking on behalf of the city of San Luis Obispo.
But
I think he's really deluded, if not crazy,
and along those lines, then, because he's making these pronouncements, whatever his state is, what does that do in your effort to continue the drive to conserve water, to continue to be water wise, if anything? Nothing.
It doesn't affect us at all. Basically, I believe in making decisions based on facts and data. And
what does the data tell us about
the data tells us we have a drought. So it's not only the water. I mean, last year we got average rain, but historically average rain. But right now, what we've got is the water is drying up in the soil and in the plants themselves. The trees are very stressed. So, we have our urban forest. Yeah, I'm really concerned. And I'd say worldwide, with climate change, it's very unpredictable what's going to happen. Worldwide, conservation of water and provision of clean water is a huge priority. It's going to be scarce. And so San Luis Obispo wants to add new neighborhoods. We want to annex in the southerly part of the city and provide more housing for people. And we want to make sure that we have an adequate water supply to do that.
So what else did you learn on the panel? What lessons did you take away?
Gosh. Well,
if any, or generally speaking, I mean,
you've got my notes.
There they are. There's some real heavy hitters. Take them all. I mean, I guess what's the takeaway? Do you feel as if we've come together as a state?
Yeah. Well, I'd say that the whole, if you want to call it, water community,
right,
and the wastewater community. Now they're beginning to really look at wastewater as a resource and not just something that you want to treat enough that you can put it in the ocean. So those two areas are actually coming together. And technology is, there's a lot of hope in technology.
Her name is Gean Marx. She is the mayor of the city of San Luis Obispo. I'm Brad Pomerance on the Central Coast. It's Charter Local Edition.